All right. So thank you all for being here today. We greatly appreciate your time for our Georgia State alum, as well as friends of our organization, Create Your Career Path. I'm Hallie Crawford, certified career coach, speaker, and author. I'm based in Atlanta, Georgia. And my coaching company has been around since 2002. And the advice we're going to give you today is advice that we give to all of our clients to help you understand if it's time to make a career move. If your current job really isn't working for you and you need to find something different, or if you can stay where you are and maybe make some subtle shifts, adjustments, or changes. So what we're focusing on today is how to evaluate what's going on and what makes the most sense for you. And the reason why we bring this up is because when we work with our clients, understandably, when they first come to us, we've got a great team of certified career coaches and resume writers who provide our one-on-one services. A lot of times when people come to us, they understandably are frustrated, concerned, stressed out, and they're wondering, do I need to make a change? And if I do, how big does that change need to be? And many times people feel like it needs to be a huge change in order to be satisfied, just because they feel so unsettled, which is completely understandable. And 9 times out of 10, we find actually that people do not have to make as big of a change as they think they do up front. So we want to help people figure out, like, is it time to make a move, but also does it need to be a large change or a small change? And let me know if you all can hear me or not too, because I know someone said they lost audio and I just want to make sure everything's okay. I'm going to stop my video to be safe, to save that bandwidth. Okay, good. Got the thumbs up. So in order to be as effective as possible today, the next thing that I would recommend is on our next slide, if you would pick one action step that makes the most sense for you and where you are in terms of trying to figure out whether it's time to make a change. Remember, you will get both the recording and the slides as well to your email. So don't feel like you have to frantically write everything down today. Okay, you can revisit both of those later. And what I would suggest is if you can pick one action step that makes the most sense for you, based on where you are in this journey of figuring out if it is time to make a move, then you can revisit everything later and take additional action steps, because this is a lot to be thinking about and considering. And we don't want people to walk away feeling overwhelmed. Take this in baby steps and in bite-sized chunks to help you move forward. Now, the reason why so many people understandably are feeling like they're not totally sure if their career is still the right fit for them is there's a lot, obviously, that's been going on in the workforce in the past several years. If you look at this slide, these are some examples. Then we had a bunch of layoffs, obviously, last year. Then you overlay just stress of everything else going on and how big a shift is AI going to make in the economy, et cetera. So one of the things that we would recommend you start to think about first is on the right-hand side of this slide. How long have you been feeling this way before you decide to make a move? Is it a passing phase? Because, for example, is it that you've been working with a specific client or on a specific project that may not be your favorite? Is it something about a coworker or something versus the overall career trajectory of your job and career path? So you want to think first about how long have I felt this way and how does that impact whether it's time to stay or go? We always want people to at least consider for a few minutes anything that they could do at their current position if they haven't already tried those things, in order to figure out if there is a way to stay put, if that makes sense. So simply because that can be easier. We've put time, invested time, et cetera, in that path. But if it really is time to make a change, then that's okay too. This is what we help people with all day long, is figuring out how to make a move, if it's time to make a move or not, and how big that change might need to be, if at all. Oh, and this is so weird. I am so sorry. I don't understand why this set talks about delegation here. Here's what we're going to be talking about today: our ideal career model and how to get a sense of what the right next steps are for you. The ideal career model will help you decide whether you need to stay or go by evaluating the different components to the ideal career. And we're going to help talk you through as well what some of those pieces to the model mean, how to evaluate them, and then we will talk about tools and action steps. I will be putting some information in the chat box as we progress. So please do me a favor and make sure that you've got that there. Just as a quick reminder, because we focus in our 30 minutes on the content for today, we don't do polls or Q&A. So why is this important? It's important if we look at this next slide, because we don't want to be like the man on this screen. We find that every few years, whether it's the Gallup organization, the Conference Board, et cetera, studies regularly come out about people's satisfaction at work or dissatisfaction. And too often the statistics are high that people are not in the right fit for them. And this is obviously impacted or can be impacted by multiple things. But what we want to pay attention to is making sure that we realize that this really does take a toll on our quality of life, not just inside of work, but outside of work too. And we really want to be paying attention to being in the right fit, because it impacts our personal lives inevitably as well. And why we get stuck in a career path that may not fit for us, there are lots of different reasons this can happen. So please know you're not alone. It's normal. It happens to so many people. And one of the things to be thinking about is, let's look at the right-hand side of this slide here for a moment. Why are you in your current job? Are you in it because, gosh, it was offered years ago and then I've just gotten promoted, or I've just kind of moved along and taken the jobs as they came to me through networking, et cetera? And you want to think about for yourself if you are in your current career path and job for the right reasons. So blurt out a list, and this can be, later today, tonight before you go to bed, whatever, but make a list of the reasons that you're in your current position. And are they, quote unquote, the right ones for you? Yes, financial can be a reason, obviously, but what are the other reasons? And are these the reasons why? And do they make sense for you to stay put? Or are they like, well, no, these aren't really good reasons, not good enough reasons for me to stay? That's what you want to think about first. So do me a favor and write this down as a possible action step if this makes sense for you. We talked about this next slide already. So what I want to just remind you of is, as you're thinking about this, please don't go into the process, even if you are very, very frustrated or unhappy in your current position or career path. Please don't make the assumption that just because of that, you need to make a huge change and do something completely different. Some of our clients do make large changes, but some of them make course corrections or subtle shifts. They're doing something that's adjacent, for example, to what they did before. They're doing the same thing, but at a different organization. So please know that just because you feel unsatisfied doesn't suddenly mean you need to go be a circus clown or something like completely different necessarily. We really want you to evaluate, using our model, the different components that are working for you where you are and the things that are not working for you where you are, because then you can decide, okay, this is okay and can stay the same, but these things need to make, or I need to make a change or a difference here. What does that mean in terms of my next steps? And the good news is that although a lot of people out there are totally satisfied, that you can find jobs that and career paths that you are feeling engaged and fulfilled in. It's usually less dramatic of a change, as we've already said. But the other thing I want you to know too is that we have to be realistic as well. Oops, wrong slide. Bear with me 1 second. There we go. We are not sitting over here telling our clients, for example, like, oh, wave a magic wand and everything's going to be perfect. No job is ever perfect every single second of the day. There's always going to be things that you may have to compromise on, or things that you may not enjoy as much as other things about your job. That's just normal in life. And even though, for example, I'm passionate about what I do and I love it, there are certain things that aren't my favorite things to do and difficult things I have to deal with during the course of my day. And if you look at the bottom of this slide, what our goal is that the good parts about the career that you either move into, or if you stay where you are and make changes, the good parts so far outweigh the bad parts that you barely notice those things that you don't enjoy as much. That's what we're going for. And I have this, this saying here that we all hear, old adage about do what you love and the money will follow. I would argue with that, because it's not like you do something you love and it's just this windfall, right? I've worked very hard to get my business where it is from 2002 to today, but I do feel like I've enjoyed it. And I will say that in some cases, it doesn't feel like work. I'm in the flow, etc. And that's what we're looking for you. So we have to be realistic about things. I'm not suddenly, for example, going to go be an astronaut tomorrow, right? Luckily, I don't want to be. But know that we're not seeking perfection every single second of the day. You can find something that fits you much better than where you are. And this is why we do what we do, and why we hear from our clients all the time, I'm in my brand new job and I love it. Thank you. So let's take a look at how we know for sure, first off, if we're in the wrong fit. So do me a favor, get out your pen and paper, and we're going to do this quick quiz together so that you can write this down. So 8 big red flags to let you know that you're not in the right career path in the long run, and you most likely do need to make some kind of change, is number 1, if you dread getting out of bed every single morning, that's a bad sign. This is going to be normal every once in a while. People experience the Sunday blues, like that's normal too, or can be. But if it's every single morning, not a good sign. Number 2, if your work relationships and your performance are suffering, that's a sign that this is not the right fit for you in the long run. Number 3, if you don't get any satisfaction, sense of accomplishment, joy, or, you've enjoyed doing some of your tasks during the course of the day, for example, that is a sign that you're in the wrong fit. And number 4 is the senioritis, right? Which I'm experiencing now with my senior in high school. If you started to slack off and have very little or no motivation, don't feel challenged, etc., then this is a sign that you're in the wrong fit. We need to make some kind of shift. Now let's look at our last 4. And then in a couple of slides here, I'll tell you, based on how many you wrote down, what it means for your situation. If number 5, you feel like you have to become someone else at work in order to fit in, be effective, etc., that's not okay. Now, we all know that we all have a professional persona. We're not going to let it all hang out at work, obviously. But if you feel like you really can't be genuine and authentic in at least some way, shape, or form at your job, that's not going to work for you long term. Number 6, if your job doesn't make use of your talents and skills in the way that you want it to, you're going to feel like you're not useful, so to speak, or you're not challenged, and that's not going to work long term either. And number 7 and 8, if you spend most of your time complaining about your job, and if you fantasize about quitting, being fired, or let go. I know this one might sound crazy. We had a client once who had a call with one of our coaches. About a week later, they had their second call. She sounded great. And they were like, you sound really good. What happened? And she said, I got fired, and it was the best thing that ever happened to me. Now, our goal for you, obviously, is not to get fired. That's not what we're saying. But for her, she needed to be pushed out the door in order to be able to take the risk and make something else happen. She was having a really hard time just leaving the position in the first place. And what she realized after that occurred is this weight was lifted off of her that she didn't fully know she was carrying around. Now, let's look at your results here in just a second. I did want to let you know that we always do a free consult with anyone who participates in our webinars. I'm happy to talk with you about our coaching services. You can use this QR code. I'll put the information in the chat box as well. And for our Georgia State alum, we give a discount on different services depending on what you choose. So feel free to talk with me. It's to learn about coaching and if it's the right thing for you to do working with us at this point. Let's talk about your results. If you got 1 or 2 red flags, so take a look at your piece of paper. You may just be going through a rough patch. Let's make some changes based on our model, and you can reevaluate things in about 3 months. So if you can make some changes where you are, just to kind of try some things out, if nothing else, even if you do that while you're conducting a job search, maybe that can help you feel a little bit better where you are, and you softly conduct a job search to kind of see what else is out there. That's an option too. 3 or 4 red flags, probably not in the right career, but you may be closer than you think to the right type of path or career path for you. Let's do a list of writing down what works for you where you are and what doesn't work where you are to help you get started. So what's working, what's not working, and take a look at the what's not working, and is there anything you can do about those elements? And if you have 5 or more red flags, it's definitely time to make a change or shift. So one of the things, let's talk about our next step here, is when you're thinking about whether you're in the right fit or not, and what might be better for you, we always want our clients to define fulfillment upfront and understand, and I'll show you this next slide so you know what we're talking about, what our values are, what success means to us, what tasks we enjoy, so that we can say, okay, if these things are not being satisfied where I am, what could or would be better for me? And there's different ways to define fulfillment, and I'll explain as well why we have people look at this first. So first of all, why we have people consider fulfillment first is because it gives you a better chance of brainstorming additional or alternative ideas for you than you may not have thought of in the past. You will brainstorm more ideas by thinking about what would be really rewarding to me and your strengths and your past experience, but then also looking at finances and salary, et cetera, later on, versus if you just say, well, I'm good at this and this is going to pay me enough, you're going to have a limited list of things that you're looking at. So we really want you to think outside of the box at the very beginning, because it's that shoot for the moon and at least you'll hit the stars concept, where if you do this first, you'll get closer to something that you actually really enjoy and brainstorm additional ideas. There's also so many jobs out there that we don't even know exist, and it's worth doing some research to see what those are. The second thing to talk about how to define fulfillment is on this slide. Lots of different ways to do this. We help our clients identify their top 3 to 5 career values by doing a peak experience exercise with them. What was a peak moment or time in their life when they felt lit up? And what were the qualities about that peak experience? Those can be clues to some of your values. We'll have them journal about, or some people like to do a vision board for their ideal day at work. For several clients, or most of our clients, will also look at identifying their interests. What are the things they do inside, but also outside of work, where they lose track of time, and what are some clues to values there? And you can also journal for a few minutes about how you define success. What does success mean and look to you at this stage in your life and in your career? And this will help you start to brainstorm a lot of different ideas versus being narrow by then looking at experience, education, et cetera. After defining fulfillment, which is at the very bottom here, we want you to look at that first. We then would suggest using this as a checklist for yourself to evaluate, okay, in my current role, industry, career path, how fulfilled am I? How interested am I in my tasks and my projects on a day-to-day basis? We then recommend looking at your strengths. Are you leveraging them in the way that you want to in your top 5 strengths? Then go through and say, is it leveraging my past experience and my education in a way that I want it to? Is it a good fit for my personality type? Your personality type influences the type of role that you're in, the type of people that you work with, and if it's a fit for you or not, both of those things, as well as the right work environment for you. You then want to look at the work environment. Is the culture right here for me? Do I feel aligned or not? And then finally, last but absolutely not least, we do want you to look at compensation. How well are you compensated for what you're doing now? Is it fair, et cetera? So use this model as a checklist first to evaluate on a scale of 1 to 5 with each of these pieces and your current career path, how well does it fit for you? Because then you can say, for example, gosh, a lot of these are in the right place for me, but the work environment is the problem. So what does that mean? That means that I should or could be doing something similar to what I've been doing, but I need to do it at a different place. Or if you have more boxes checked that are problematic, it's going to be more likely that you need to make a larger change. So use this as a checklist. I would invite you to take an extra step and go ahead and write down for yourself with each of these boxes, what would it look like if it was at a 5 for you? That can help you brainstorm alternative ideas. But use our model, print it out. You'll get the slides, as we said, and the recording as well. Print this out and start to use this as a structured way to formulate your thinking, to identify, is it time to make a move and how big of a change do I need to make? Now, with the model, and as you're filling it out for yourself, you can try career assessments. There's lots of free tools online. You can do strengths finder assessments. There's DISC. There's lots of different options. You can ask AI to give you some ideas here for different assessments you can take. Please remember that they can be really helpful. Just going back to the model here really quickly, some of the assessments will test for strengths. Some of them will test for interests. Some of them will test for your personality type. They can give you good, solid, accurate information. So we like them. But what you need to remember is with these assessments, they're only testing you for one of these pieces, not the complete picture. So this is why you want to remember that you can gather or use those for information as part of the puzzle, but you want to use our model in order to make sure that you're really covering all of your bases, okay? Now, if you start to think about, okay, I need to make a move but I need to kind of see how things are playing out with my industry, et cetera, first. When you are thinking about making a possible shift of any kind, or even making changes within your organization and where you are now, we want you to be realistic and smart about it. And remember, there are other options for the moment besides making a move right this second, if that's not the right thing for you to do. I'll share my story just really quickly with you, and then we'll look at this slide and start to close out for today. I started my company and started to take courses actually before I started my company while I was working at another job. So for me, the safest, financially, smartest thing to do at the time was to work on this on the side while I was still paying my bills. So I took a coaching class to see how that felt. And I was like, okay, I like this. Let me keep going. Very much baby steps for me to try things out. I'm not saying that's what you have to do, but please know that this isn't just a quit my job one day, start the next job the next day. There's lots of different choices. You can do volunteer work on the side. You can freelance a little bit. You can take a class, etc., to try some things out and move or start to move in a direction that could work for you. And the things that we want you to be thinking about, if you're like, okay, I do want to make a move, is this the right time or not to do so? How's your organization doing? What else could you be happy with at this moment if you can't make as huge of a change or as drastic of a change as you might like to? Are there things that you can adjust where you are now? For many of our clients, they will get or some of them need to get actually like a bridge job in between where they are now and where they would like to be in the long run. I had a bridge job that paid my bills, but I was working more part-time, just 4 days a week, while I was growing my coaching practice on the side. So please know there are choices here. It's not just one thing or the other. Try to brainstorm ideas. You can ask AI for suggestions about, okay, if I'm thinking about doing this, what are some possible like channels or avenues I could pursue? Before we go for today, I really appreciate your time and I hope this was helpful for you. And I apologize for the issues at the slides at the beginning. Some of our clients will work with us in individual coaching. We also have boot camps as an alternative. This is group coaching instead. We have a boot camp that's coming up. If this is something that would be the right fit for you to work within a group, it follows the same process that we use with all of our clients. These boot camps are nice small groups so that you have a chance to interact, talk with other people, etc. There's more information here at the QR code. And I will put a link to this in the chat box as well. Our different coaching options are listed on our website, whether it's group or individual, etc. And we do have another Georgia State webinar coming up. It's Finding Work-Life Balance and Managing Mental Health in the Workplace. That's going to be May 26th at 12 noon. If you are already on our email list, you probably got a notification about our boot camp from the previous slide because we sent that out to our newsletter list. And if you are on that same list, you will already get a notification about this upcoming webinar because we announce these webinars monthly too. So remember at the beginning, we said, I would like you to take one action step in the next week from what we talked about today. It could be, I'm going to review the model. It could be, I'm going to brainstorm some different options using that fulfillment piece there. There are QR codes for a consult for the boot camp there as well. I would love to hear about your action steps. If you reply to any of the emails that we have sent you, I will get a copy of that and see it. And if you have additional questions after this webinar today, feel free to email me and I'm happy to answer quick questions as needed. Remember to keep an eye on your email, please, because you will get a copy of the slides as well as the recording from today. And I will go on video just for a moment to say thank you so much for your time. I know this can feel overwhelming and like a lot. Take it in baby steps. And remember, with each step you're taking, you don't have to commit to anything. You can say, let me try this or take this step, and then I'm going to see how it goes and keep moving forward. Just do me a favor and don't settle for less than a job you truly enjoy, because you can have something that is a really good fit for you. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you so much for your time.